Welcome to the Adhocracy Show, the show for people who know that these are the droids they're looking for.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm David Landeen.
And I'm JD Melville. And welcome to the Adhocracy Show. Today, of course, we're talking about Star Wars.
You may notice our set is a little bit different than last time you saw it.
We have quite a few paraphernalia up here for you to enjoy. If you don't like this, then you can look at this.
Yeah, we have some toys here, which if you watched our show about creativity, it's a good thing to have toys on your desk. We have Yoda backpack, a Star Wars interactive video board game with Darth Vader footage you've never seen. I don't know what's actually on there.
Probably him with his actual voice and not James Earl Jones.
Probably. Anyway, but we'll be talking a lot about some of these things here.
And in fact, go to our pre-show. We recorded a show just basically to talk about the movie. I will give you an alert. There are massive spoilers. In fact, David drops one right at the beginning just to get us started.
If you haven't seen the movie, don't go watch it unless you want it ruined for you.
So we kind of talked about some of our things of the. I mean, there's so much to talk about that we barely basically scratched the surface.
Yeah.
But go and watch it. Go. We'd like to hear what your opinion of the movie was.
All right, so we're going to just jump right into the show because we have, like you said, a lot to talk about today. A few years ago, in a state not so far away, Disney acquired Star Wars.
Oh, and what a wonderful thing to acquire. I mean, first off, we both love Disney. In fact, we would love to call this, and we'll probably do several episodes on Disney Does It Right.
They're so good.
Oh, everything that Disney does, they do. They really think it out. They really put it together. And acquiring Star Wars, I think, was such an incredible thing. I mean, they had already incorporated pieces of it. It was already kind of connected in some ways, but I mean, now they own it. Now they can control it. And I mean, one of the, I think, really exciting things about this is not only did they buy it, which basically invigorated the entire series. They've done cartoons. They're basically kind of building it more and more, but coming out with these new movies. And I would love to say I thought in my lifetime I would never see these 3 movies that are coming out.
I remember when the prequels came out, my parents telling me, yeah, these were always going to happen, and there's going to be a 7, 8, and 9, and then I think around that same time when the prequels didn't really perform the way they wanted them to, they kind of announced, nope, we're not going to do 7, 8, and 9. That was originally thought out, but it's not going to happen. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see.
I was kind of sad what was going to go forward, and now here we are. We have it. We have new stuff, and this is going to, for Disney and for LucasArts, it's going to re-enliven this entire thing. I mean, merchandising, the movies.
Yeah.
You can tell that they're going to do all of this right because not only have they, started doing stuff for it, but they're changing Disneyland. Usually everything in Disneyland gets kicked, if it's not part of Disney, it gets kicked over to California Adventure. They are actually changing the park to include a Star Wars land.
Which, if you think about that is a huge sign to those fans that they are serious about Star Wars, that they are not taking this lightly. They are changing Disneyland to incorporate Star Wars. They didn't do that with Marvel. Mm-hmm. They didn't do that with any of their other acquisitions. It was Star Wars, and that's kind of where things are. They're changing Disneyland.
Well, and I actually went to Disneyland not too long ago, and it was fantastic because they had like a Star Wars. They actually called it Hyperspace Mountain, and they had these cool little overlays. There was some stuff that was a little kitschy, but some of it that was super cool. I went on it 3 times just to make sure that I saw everything that. And so not only does it invigorate Star Wars, but now you have another reason to go back to Disneyland. I mean, the acquisition itself is just such a large part of advertising and marketing for Disney.
So Disney acquires it, and they have to figure out, how do we appeal to both fans of old and fans new? They're different generations. I mean, they basically were one step away from acquiring a religion. I mean, Star Wars is so popular and so just crazy with all these groups that you have to step lightly and really study the culture that you've just acquired. And they did a great job of that. When they started marketing for the new movie, I feel like their message was Star Wars brings people together.
Yeah.
And if you think, and another thing that I found interesting is Disney tends to be one that keeps things close to the chest. I mean, when they lock things in vaults, they are ones that it is ours, we get it, you can't touch it. But because Star Wars was already out there, I mean, it was everywhere. It influenced, Family Guy, Simpsons. It was everywhere. They decided, let's use that to our advantage. Let's not try and tame it. Let's just ignite this fire and let it spread.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I absolutely love. There are a bevy of commercials of different types of advertisements. The chips that we have back here, we've got, what are these?
Cheez-Its. Yeah,
Cheez-Its.
These are bubbles.
Bubbles. They allowed a lot of cross-marketing. In fact, I can't think of seeing one trailer except for the one that I looked up, like I physically looked up. Everything else, but I saw tons of advertisements for Star Wars. But it was like selling Subway sandwiches, it was selling cars, it was selling TV show. This cross-marketing was beautiful. Disney didn't have to really do any advertising at all.
And they were able to do it so well because it seemed like all these commercials had the same message of two best friends who always loved Star Wars, and now they're playing Star Wars together. And then you have the family members, and you have there's all these things that they did, and to have that many commercials, that much cross-product advertising, but to keep the message the same. How do you do that? That's incredible.
And I wonder whether they had to pay to be able to cross Star Wars, cross market, or if they approached and said, hey, we want to cross market as well. Okay, here's some assets, because the Duracell commercial, it shows a boy, he runs outside, he's playing or whatever. He runs outside and his sister's there. She's like, what took you so long? These are two Storm drivers. AT-AT's in the background.
Well, I know they worked with Industrial Light and Magic on that commercial. That was, literally the people who did the special effects for Star Wars helped out with that commercial.
That's fantastic.
So, and that's one of those things that Disney helped. Obviously they provided some resources and to help them get this right. And Disney does it right.
They really do.
That was such a cool thing. We're going to go through and do our good, bad, and uglies.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
For Star Wars marketing. I'll start off on this. The good was first impressions. When Disney acquired Star Wars, they put out a commercial of Darth Vader going to Disneyland, which was a perfect commercial, tongue-in-cheek, just kind of a fun thing, saying, hey, this happened. Yep, we're going to make fun of ourselves a little bit. Amazing. The first picture, the first image that they released from the Star Wars set was the cast all around doing a script reading. You have the old cast. You have the new cast. They're all sitting together. They're best friends. They love each other. What a great way of endearing the cast to the fans.
With that, they also had, they took the fans or the stars and put them out in situations. For example, they had Luke basically get up in a stormtrooper and go to the Chinese Mon Theater and walk around. He didn't reveal himself to any of them, but he's sitting there. He's like, who would you like to most meet? And they're like, I want to meet Luke Skywalker. And he's like, oh, how funny is that? But they did this stuff for charity. They had them out and about to endear people to these people. So,
which helped us to not judge it as harshly. The movie when we went and saw, we're friends with these people. We know them. I saw them. They were talking about this. And it actually kind of, I think, helped the reviews so that, expectations were really high, but then they were kind of understanding as well. And also the first trailer, which, incredible first trailer. Parodies upon parodies made. Just, again, igniting that culture. The bad is a General Mills commercial, which I just don't understand.
Well, one of the great things with it is they did kind of allow a lot of people to play with this, to do a lot of nostalgic type things. There was a lot of bad commercials that came out of ones that kind of flopped.
Yeah, this one has some kids and they do these are not the droid things you are looking for, and then the dad's gonna say, I am your father, and the mom stops him. I don't understand it. You guys can go watch it yourself. We'll put a link below. But I just don't get it. And it just flopped. And that's, I guess, as far as trying to find bad marketing.
But one of the funny things with that is because there were so many good ones, the bad ones kind of just
I had to go and look for that one.
Yeah.
So
you kind of just didn't notice them. You kind of played it off well, that was weird.
And then for my ugly, it's not keeping George Lucas happy. I think that somebody kind of dropped the ball maybe on that, and they should have kept him as a consultant and then taken one of his ideas. He's kind of like that the weird uncle at the party that you have to keep happy, otherwise he's going to go off and drink and then make a scene. So you just got to keep the guy happy. I don't know. That's my ugly.
You do get a lot of this. I mean, if you think of like Back to the Future, there's a character or two that like didn't come back, and they got someone that looked like them. I mean, there's always some kind of feeling to it, but I mean, it's not their baby. They're the actors within it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is George's baby, but
yeah. All right. What do you got for us? Any good, bad, and uglies?
Well, I mean, I agree with everything that's been said. The way that they marketed the movie, I love that I actually had to go see, like I had to look for the trailer. That's incredible. That I knew that Star Wars was coming. That's amazing. That's incredible. That I had to look for a trailer, like that I didn't just see it in passing, because I mean that's incredible. The bad, I don't know. I can really say that there was too much bad. There were bad commercials.
There's some little stuff here and there.
And I mean, for the majority of it, because they're setting up new characters, there were a lot of spoilers that could have happened. Everything was based off old stuff, and that's fine. That works, because you can't show something about Rey, because no one knows or cares about Rey yet until you see the movie. Ugly wise, I don't know if there was anything ugly for me when coming to this. The one thing that I do think is ugly is the reviews that people have had. It's just been so polarizing.
You either love it or hate it.
Yeah, I mean, the Huffington Post posted 40 plot points that were errors, and then someone responds to it. It could kind of get ugly, but we also know that bad publicity or bad PR is still marketing. People are still excited. Yeah. People are still talking about it. I mean, we are in a time where we're asked to judge. We're asked to call and vote on our favorite contestant on this or that. And, what do you think? We really do have a very vocal society right now.
Yeah.
Everyone has a voice. And
exactly.
if you have a strong enough voice, it'll get through, it'll get shared. And especially on some of these negative things, like, oh, I hated it. Okay, well, people are like, oh, if you're positive, negative, if you're one way or another, that's what gets shared. You're in the middle, you're like, oh yeah, I liked it, it was really good, and blah 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 blah. It doesn't get shared.
I know.
So that would be sort of my ugly, but it's not really that ugly.
I know. So
thanks everyone for watching. Please let us know below some of your favorite commercials, some of the marketing stuff that you've seen or shared. Let us know what you think and what you found as your good and bad and ugly for this.
Yeah, and make sure you check out the pre-show. And we are going to end this show. We're going to start a new thing where we end every show with your Adhocracy made-up fact of the day, and or I guess of the week. Maybe sometime will come to the day. So, for your Adhocracy made-up fact of the day, it is impossible to stick out your tongue and snap with your left hand.
Okay. Yeah, well, go and like and comment and subscribe to our video. Share it with your family and friends. Join us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. And
we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. I've seen the movie twice now.
I saw it once.
I absolutely loved it.
I liked it.
I really enjoyed it. Star Wars is something for me. Like, I liked the original